5 mistakes in morning water habits that seniors need to stop now. Senior health tips. What if the simple act of drinking water first thing in the morning could actually harm your health? Water itself isn't the issue, but when paired with certain habits, it can trigger everything from nausea to long-term stress on your organs. While everyone raves about the benefits of morning hydration, few talk about the hidden risks when it's done carelessly. This is especially true for older adults, whose bodies are more sensitive and easily thrown off balance. Your kidneys, digestion, and heart all rely on the right timing, balance, and context. When you wake up, your body is in a fragile state, hormones are shifting, blood pressure is adjusting, and electrolytes are low. Flooding your system with water the wrong way might not show immediate effects, but that doesn't mean it's harmless. Some feel fatigued, others notice a racing heart or cold sweats, and many just feel off without knowing why. In this video, we'll uncover 5 common mistakes that can turn your morning water routine from helpful to harmful. Each one is a silent risk most people overlook, and the last one might completely change how you start your day. If you care about steady digestion, a strong heart, and a clear mind, stick with us. This could be one of the most eye-opening lessons you learn all week. Before we dive in, drop a 1 in the comments to let us know you're here. If you find these insights helpful, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Your support keeps us creating content that matters to you. Now let's get started with the first mistake. Mistake 1. Drinking cold water on an empty stomach. When you wake up, your body is in a delicate state, having fasted through the night. Your digestive system is calm, your blood vessels are slightly constricted, and your internal organs are operating at a gentle rhythm. Drinking ice-cold water first thing in the morning, especially on an empty stomach, can jolt this fragile balance. It's like slamming the brakes on a car engine that's just warming up. The sudden influx of cold liquid disrupts digestion, numbs stomach muscles, and constricts blood vessels at a time when they're trying to open up to kickstart your day. This shock can lead to discomfort, ranging from mild bloating to more noticeable issues like headaches, dizziness, or even chest tightness. The problem isn't the water itself, but its temperature. Cold water forces your body to expend extra energy to restore its core temperature, which is already slightly lowered after sleep. For younger people with faster metabolisms, this might not be a big deal. However, for older adults, whose systems are slower to adapt, this added strain can stress the cardiovascular system unnecessarily. You might feel a sudden headache, a wave of fatigue, or even a strange chill that lingers longer than it should. These aren't signs of refreshment, but signals that your body is struggling to cope with an unexpected challenge. Consider Eleanor, a 68-year-old retiree who used to start her mornings with a tall glass of ice-cold water straight from the fridge. She loved the crisp sensation, believing it woke her up and cleared her throat. But over time, she noticed persistent stomach cramps, cold fingers, and sluggish digestion that lasted well into the morning. These issues frustrated her, as she assumed they were just a normal part of aging. After mentioning her routine to her doctor, she was advised to switch to room temperature water for a few weeks. The change was striking. Within days, her stomach pains vanished, her hands stopped trembling, and her mornings felt calmer, more comfortable, and less reactive. Eleanor's story shows how small habits, when misaligned with our body's needs, can quietly cause harm. Cold water might feel invigorating when you're in your 20s, but as you age, it can do more damage than good. Your digestive tract, in particular, is sensitive in the morning. The cold can slow gastric motility, making it harder for your stomach to process food later in the day. This can lead to bloating, acid reflux, or a general sense of heaviness. For those with pre-existing conditions like irritable bowel syndrome or gastritis, the effects can be even more pronounced, turning a seemingly healthy habit into a daily irritant. The science behind this is straightforward. Your body maintains a core temperature of around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and drinking water significantly colder than that, say 40 degrees Fahrenheit from the fridge, forces your system to divert energy to warm it up. This process, called thermogenesis, isn't inherently bad, but in the morning when your metabolism is still ramping up, it's an unnecessary burden. For older adults whose blood flow and organ function are less resilient, this can strain the heart and kidneys, subtly increasing the risk of discomfort or even long-term wear. So what's the solution? Opt for water at room temperature, ideally between 70 degrees Fahrenheit and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, to align with your body's natural state. This allows your digestive system to wake up gently, without the shock of extreme cold. If you're used to cold water, the switch might feel odd at first, but give it a week and you'll likely notice a difference. Your stomach will feel less tense, your energy more stable, and your mornings more balanced. To make the transition easier, try keeping a glass of water by your bedside overnight, covered to keep it clean. By morning, it'll be at room temperature, ready to hydrate you without the jolt. If you prefer a slight warmth, especially in colder months, warm the water to just above room temperature, around 85 degrees Fahrenheit to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. This can be soothing for the stomach and may even promote better digestion throughout the day. Another tip is to sip, not gulp. Drinking slowly gives your body time to absorb the water without overwhelming your stomach or kidneys. Aim to consume about 8 to 12 ounces over 10 to 15 minutes, rather than chugging it all at once. This gradual approach respects your body's morning rhythm, ensuring hydration feels supportive, not stressful. Eleanor's experience isn't unique. Many people overlook the connection between cold water and morning discomfort, chalking up symptoms to age or stress. But the truth is, your organs deserve respect. They've carried you this far, and a small tweak like switching to room temperature water can make a big difference. It's not about drastic changes, but about listening to your body's signals. By choosing water that matches your internal temperature, you're giving your digestive system, heart, and metabolism a chance to start the day right, setting a foundation for better energy and focus. Mistake 2. Drinking water too quickly or too much. When you first wake up, your body is transitioning from a state of rest to activity. Your heart rate is gradually increasing, your blood pressure is recalibrating, and your digestive system is still dormant after hours of fasting. Gulping down a large glass of water, or drinking it too quickly, can overwhelm this delicate process. It's like flooding an engine before it's had time to warm up. The sudden rush of liquid can strain your kidneys, disrupt electrolyte balance, and lead to discomfort such as bloating, dizziness, or even nausea. For some, it might cause a fleeting sense of lightheadedness that seems to come out of nowhere. The issue lies in how your body processes water in the morning. After sleep, your stomach lining is sensitive, and your kidneys are operating at a baseline level. Drinking too much water too fast doesn't give your system time to absorb it properly. Instead, it can pool in your stomach, causing bloating or a heavy feeling. This rapid intake also forces your kidneys to work overtime, which can dilute electrolytes like sodium and potassium in your blood. For older adults whose fluid regulation is less efficient, this imbalance can trigger symptoms like weakness, trembling, or a racing heart. In rare cases, it might even lead to acid reflux or mild gastric irritation, especially for those prone to digestive issues. Take Walter, a 72-year-old former coach who treated hydration like a discipline. Every morning he'd wake up, stretch, and chug an entire bottle of water before getting out of bed. He thought this was an efficient way to jumpstart his day, ensuring he stayed hydrated. But over time, he began experiencing unexplained bouts of dizziness, particularly in the mornings. Some days he felt a strange pressure in his chest or a wave of nausea that he couldn't pinpoint. He wasn't skipping meals, nor was he dehydrated, so the symptoms puzzled him. When he shared his routine with his doctor, the problem became clear. Walter was flooding his system before it had a chance to stabilize. The doctor suggested a simple change: drinking water slowly over 15 to 20 minutes instead of all at once. Walter started sipping 8 to 12 ounces of room temperature water, taking small, deliberate swallows while sitting upright. Within a week, his dizziness vanished, and the morning discomfort that had plagued him for months was gone. His body felt lighter, his energy more consistent, and he no longer had that unsettling sense of unease. Walter's story highlights a key principle. Hydration has a rhythm, and respecting that rhythm, especially in the morning, can transform how you feel. Drinking too quickly bypasses your body's natural absorption process. Your stomach can only handle so much liquid at once, typically around 8 to 16 ounces in a short period. When you exceed this, the excess water sits in your digestive tract, stretching it and causing bloating or discomfort. This can also trigger a reflex that slows gastric emptying, making you feel sluggish or heavy. For older adults whose kidneys are less adept at managing sudden fluid shifts, this can lead to a temporary drop in electrolyte levels, which might manifest as muscle cramps, fatigue, or even a slight tremor in the hands. The science backs this up. Your kidneys filter about 120 to 150 milliliters of fluid per minute under normal conditions. Flooding them with a large volume of water in a short time, say 20 ounces in under a minute, forces them to work harder, which can stress the renal system. This is particularly risky for those with compromised kidney function or heart conditions, as it can subtly elevate blood pressure or strain the cardiovascular system. Even healthy individuals might notice a vague sense of unease, like a flutter in the chest or a momentary loss of balance, without connecting it to their drinking habits. The solution is straightforward. Drink slowly and mindfully. Instead of chugging a full glass, take small sips over 15 to 20 minutes. This allows your stomach to pass the water to your intestines gradually, where it's absorbed efficiently. Aim for 8 to 12 ounces to start, which is enough to rehydrate without overwhelming your system. Sitting upright while drinking can also help, as it supports proper digestion and prevents the water from pooling in your stomach. To make this a habit, treat morning hydration like a ritual. Pour a glass of room temperature water, sit down, and take a moment to breathe deeply between sips. This not only aids absorption but also sets a calm tone for your day. If you're someone who feels rushed in the morning, prepare a small bottle of water the night before and keep it by your bedside. By morning, it'll be ready to sip slowly as you ease into your routine. This approach reduces strain on your kidneys, maintains electrolyte balance, and prevents digestive discomfort. It's a small adjustment, but for many, it can mean the difference between starting the day feeling energized or battling unexplained symptoms. Your body isn't a machine that needs to be filled up quickly. It's a complex system that thrives on balance and care. By drinking slowly, you're giving it the respect it deserves, ensuring hydration supports your health rather than disrupts it. Mistake 3: drinking water from plastic bottles left overnight. Many people keep a plastic water bottle by their bedside for convenience, thinking it's a harmless way to stay hydrated first thing in the morning. However, this habit can introduce risks that go unnoticed. Plastic bottles, when left sitting for hours, especially in warm or sunlit rooms, can leach harmful chemicals into the water. One of the primary concerns is bisphenol A, commonly known as BPA, a compound found in many older or lower quality plastics. Even bottles labeled BPA-free aren't always safe, as they may contain substitute chemicals that behave similarly when exposed to heat, humidity, or prolonged storage. These substances, known as endocrine disruptors, can mimic hormones in your body, interfering with the function of glands like the thyroid, pancreas, or adrenals. For older adults whose bodies are already managing issues like blood sugar fluctuations, high blood pressure, or thyroid imbalances, these chemical exposures, even in small amounts, can create subtle but significant problems. Symptoms might include unexplained fatigue, mood swings, headaches, or digestive changes, often mistaken for stress, aging, or dietary issues. The effects aren't always immediate, which makes the connection hard to spot. Over weeks or months, these microexposures can accumulate, taxing your liver, disrupting hormone balance, and making your system more vulnerable to external stressors. The water itself might be clean, but the container it's stored in can turn a healthy habit into a hidden health risk. Consider Stanley, a 78-year-old who prided himself on drinking plenty of water every morning. He kept a plastic bottle by his bed, refilled from the tap, and reused it for weeks without much thought. Sometimes the bottle sat near a warm lamp or caught direct sunlight from a nearby window. Over time, Stanley began experiencing persistent headaches and bloating that didn't align with his diet or medications. He felt unusually tired, and his energy levels fluctuated despite his active lifestyle. After discussing his habits with a nutritionist, he learned about the risks of chemical leaching from plastic bottles. Stanley switched to a glass carafe and stainless steel tumbler, and he stopped leaving water out overnight. Within a few weeks, his headaches subsided, his bloating eased, and his energy stabilized, leaving him feeling sharper and more consistent throughout the day. The science behind this is concerning but clear. BPA and similar chemicals can seep into water when plastic is exposed to warmth, light, or simply time. Studies show that even low levels of BPA can disrupt endocrine function, potentially affecting insulin sensitivity, thyroid hormone production, and stress response. For older adults, whose livers are less efficient at detoxifying these compounds, the impact can be more pronounced. These chemicals don't just pass through your system. They can linger, binding to hormone receptors and creating a cascade of imbalances. This might manifest as brain fog, irritability, or even subtle weight changes, symptoms that are easy to dismiss but erode your well-being over time. Even BPA-free plastics aren't a guaranteed fix. Many contain alternatives like BPS or BPF, which early research suggests may have similar endocrine-disrupting effects. Reusing plastic bottles, especially if they're scratched or worn, increases the risk, as microabrasions make it easier for chemicals to leach. Warm environments like a bedroom without air conditioning or a nightstand near a heater accelerate this process, turning your bedside water into a subtle toxin delivery system. The solution is simple but powerful. Switch to glass or stainless steel containers. Glass carafes or stainless steel tumblers don't leach chemicals, regardless of temperature or storage time. They're also easier to clean, reducing the risk of bacterial growth, which can be another concern with reused plastic bottles. Each morning, fill a clean glass or steel container with fresh water from a trusted source. This ensures you're drinking pure water, free from contaminants that could quietly harm your health. To make this habit practical, keep a small glass pitcher or stainless steel bottle in your kitchen and fill it fresh each morning. If you prefer having water by your bed, use a covered glass or steel tumbler to keep it dust-free overnight. These containers are durable, eco-friendly, and widely available, making the switch both affordable and sustainable. For those who like a slight chill, store water in a glass pitcher in the fridge, but let it sit for a few minutes to reach room temperature before drinking, aligning with your body's morning needs. This change might seem minor, but for an aging body, every small exposure matters. Your liver and hormones are already working hard to maintain balance, and reducing unnecessary chemical loads can lighten their burden. Stanley's experience shows how a single adjustment, swapping plastic for glass, can resolve symptoms that seem unrelated. It's not about fear but about awareness. By choosing safer containers, you're protecting your body's resilience, ensuring that your morning hydration supports your health rather than undermines it. This simple step can offer peace of mind, knowing you're starting your day with water that's as clean as it should be. Mistake 4. Drinking water incorrectly when taking medications. Mornings are a critical time for many, especially older adults who rely on daily medications to manage conditions like hypertension, thyroid issues, or chronic pain. These small pills carry big responsibilities, but how you take them, particularly in relation to water and food, can make a significant difference. Drinking too much water right after taking medication, or doing so on an overly empty or overly full stomach, can lead to problems like nausea, stomach discomfort, or even reduced drug effectiveness. For some, it might cause irritation to the stomach lining, creating symptoms that are easy to overlook but disruptive over time. This mistake often goes unnoticed because people assume their medication routine is fine as long as they're taking the pills on schedule. Your digestive system is not just a passive tube. It's a complex network of enzymes, acids, and fluids that operates with precise timing. In the morning, after hours of fasting, your stomach is particularly sensitive. Swallowing a pill with a large glass of water on an empty stomach can dilute gastric juices, slowing the breakdown and absorption of the medication. This might mean you're not getting the full therapeutic effect, leaving conditions like high blood pressure or thyroid dysfunction less controlled. Conversely, taking medication right after a heavy meal and chasing it with excessive water can overwhelm your stomach, leading to bloating, acid reflux, or a feeling of heaviness. Certain drugs, like those for thyroid function or osteoporosis, require specific conditions, such as an empty stomach or minimal water, to work properly. Consider Margaret, an 80-year-old who started noticing morning nausea that she couldn't explain. Her blood work was normal, her diet hadn't changed, and she was diligent about her medications. Every morning, about 30 minutes after taking her thyroid pill with a large glass of water, she felt queasy and unsteady. Some days the discomfort lingered, making her reluctant to eat breakfast. When she discussed this with her doctor, they identified 2 issues. She was drinking too much water too quickly on an empty stomach, and she wasn't giving her body enough time to process the medication before eating. By adjusting her routine, taking her pill with just a small sip of water and waiting 45 minutes before eating, Her nausea disappeared completely. Follow-up blood tests even showed her thyroid medication was working more effectively, stabilizing her energy and mood. The science behind this is rooted in pharmacokinetics, how drugs are absorbed, distributed, and metabolized in the body. Many medications, like levothyroxine for thyroid issues, need an acidic stomach environment to dissolve properly. Drinking a large volume of water dilutes this acidity, slowing absorption and potentially reducing the drug's potency. Other medications, like NSAIDs for pain, can irritate the stomach lining if taken with too much water on an empty stomach, causing discomfort or even mild gastritis over time. Timing also matters. Some drugs require food to buffer their effects, while others need an empty stomach to avoid interactions with nutrients. Flooding your system with water disrupts this balance, either rushing the drug through your stomach too quickly or delaying its journey to the intestines, where most absorption occurs. For older adults whose digestive systems are less resilient, these missteps can have amplified effects. Aging slows gastric motility and reduces stomach acid production, making it harder for your body to process medications efficiently. Adding excessive water into the mix can exacerbate these challenges, leading to symptoms like nausea, bloating, or even subtle nutrient deficiencies if the drug affects vitamin absorption.